Life sometimes takes turns that feel stranger than fiction, where moments of routine are suddenly interrupted by fate in the most unusual ways. These rare incidents show how quickly the ordinary can spiral into disaster, leaving behind stories that shock and astonish. Among them are some of the craziest accidental deaths that have left the world stunned. By the end of this video, you'll see just how thin the line is between safety and disaster, and the chilling lessons these stories leave behind. In the quiet town of Shupping in Germany, the night of New Year's Eve in 2014 felt calm and uneventful. Most people were preparing for celebrations, sharing food, drinks, and fireworks with friends and family. The streets were still, the chill of winter lingering in the air. For many, it was just another holiday night. But for three men, the evening would take a very different turn. Looking for quick money, they decided on an unusual target, a street vending machine that stood alone on the roadside. To them, it seemed like an easy opportunity. Inside were coins, and with a little force, they believed they could break it open and pocket the cash. At first, their plan seemed simple. They came prepared with tools and a small explosive device. Setting it up didn't take long. To them, it was just a risky game, a way to make money fast without thinking about the dangers involved. Laughing, they placed the charge, stepped back, and waited for the machine to blow open. But within seconds, the night changed forever. The explosion they set off was far stronger than they had expected. Instead of just opening the machine, the blast turned the entire street corner into a deadly zone. Pieces of sharp metal flew outward with terrifying speed. One of the men was struck directly in the head by flying debris. The force dropped him instantly. What had been a careless scheme to steal a few coins had turned into a life-threatening disaster in a single moment. His two companions were shocked. Realizing how serious the situation was, they rushed to get him into their car. The light-hearted plan was gone, replaced by panic and fear. They sped through the streets toward the nearest hospital, hoping that he could somehow survive the devastating injuries. But by the time they arrived, it was too late. Doctors could do nothing. The man was pronounced dead soon after arrival. Back at the scene, investigators discovered the shattered remains of the vending machine. The explosion had destroyed it completely, scattering coins and pieces of metal across the pavement. To police, the story was clear. A robbery gone wrong that had ended in tragedy. The other two men, though unharmed physically, were now left to face criminal charges and the burden of knowing that their reckless idea had cost their friend his life. In the end, what started as an ordinary holiday night, a time when most people were celebrating with fireworks and family, had ended with a shocking accident. A single decision, a single explosion, and a young man was gone. But this was just one of the bizarre accidents that stunned the world. The next story is even more unbelievable, where a birthday celebration turned into a tragedy no one saw coming. If you're following these unbelievable accidents closely, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss another story this chilling. It began like a celebration. On September 1st, 2025, in Pavlovsk, near St. Petersburg, Russia, the atmosphere was filled with excitement. Elizabetha Guchina, a 45-year-old mother of two, and a seasoned extreme sports enthusiast, was marking her birthday in a way that few could imagine, bungee jumping from a towering 300-foot chimney alongside her son, Nikita. At first, everything went exactly as planned. Strapped in with the 23-block bungee team, Elizabetha leapt from the edge, plunging down before being safely pulled back by the cord. She even added flair to her jump, balancing upside down in a handstand mid-air. The crowd below cheered, her son watched proudly, and cameras captured a moment of triumph. It seemed like the perfect celebration of life, thrill, and adventure. But then, everything changed. After completing her successful jump, Elizabetha decided to climb back up to the chimney's top platform. The stunt itself was over, yet she wanted one more thing, a photograph. She and her son had planned to take a selfie together on the edge, capturing the day in a way that would last forever. It was supposed to be harmless, just a picture to seal the memory. But in that decision lay the tragedy. As she stepped toward the edge of the 90-meter chimney, something went wrong. The wooden surface was damp and slippery. Reports later confirmed that she wasn't clipped securely into the safety rope at that moment. All it took was one misstep. Witnesses recalled the horrifying scene. Elizabetha suddenly lost her footing and slipped. Gasps and screams filled the air as her son, Nikita, reached out in panic, but there was nothing he could do. In an instant, she plunged from the tower, falling nearly 300 feet to the ground below. Moments earlier, the crowd had been clapping and laughing. Now they stood frozen, unable to process what they had just witnessed. Rescue teams rushed to the scene, but the fall was fatal. The birthday celebration had turned into unimaginable tragedy. Her son, who had been there to share in the thrill, was now forced to watch helplessly as his mother's life ended before his eyes. In the days that followed, the 23-block team expressed their sorrow, calling Elizabetha a beloved member of the group, an experienced jumper, and a mother of two whose energy inspired those around her. Authorities launched an investigation into the incident, examining whether safety protocols had been neglected and if the organizers had properly secured the site for participants. The story quickly spread across the world, not just as another extreme sports accident, but as a haunting reminder of how thin the line between triumph and tragedy can be. What began as a day of celebration, adventure, and family bonding ended in heartbreak. For many, the lesson is sobering. Sometimes the danger isn't in the daring leap itself, but in the moments afterward when we let our guard down. Elizabetha's story stands as a tragic reminder that even the pursuit of joy can turn fatal in the blink of an eye. Kansas City, Missouri. A calm neighborhood, a quiet home, and a young mother caring for her newborn. On the surface, it was just another ordinary afternoon. For 26-year-old Mariah Thomas, the day was filled with the simple routine of feeding, rocking, and preparing her 1-month-old baby for a nap. Everything seemed normal. The house was quiet, sunlight streaming through the windows, nothing unusual in sight. It was a moment countless parents go through every day. But in the blink of an eye, that ordinary routine would take a devastating turn. Authorities later revealed that when Thomas went to lay her infant down to rest, she made a tragic mistake. Instead of placing the baby in the crib, she accidentally set her down in the oven. What was supposed to be a peaceful nap turned into an unimaginable accident. When emergency responders arrived, the scene was heartbreaking. The baby was found showing signs of fatal injury, with clear evidence that something had gone terribly wrong. Paramedics tried, but the infant could not be revived. What began as a normal afternoon had ended in tragedy. The community was left in shock. Neighbors, friends, and even first responders struggled to understand how such a mistake could happen. A simple daily act, putting a baby down for sleep, had spiraled into one of the most haunting accidents imaginable. Authorities quickly launched an investigation. Mariah Thomas was taken into custody and charged with first-degree child endangerment, resulting in death. Later, a grand jury upgraded the charges to include involuntary manslaughter. If convicted, she could face up to life in prison. The case drew national attention, not only because of its shocking nature, but also because it forced people to confront how fragile life can be. Prosecutors described the incident as one of the most difficult cases they had ever seen, while members of the community called it a chilling reminder of how easily tragedy can strike. Jackson County Prosecutor Jean Peters Baker summed up the mood of many when she said, "Our hearts are weighted by the loss of this precious life." In the aftermath, questions lingered. How could such a mistake occur? Was it exhaustion, distraction, or something else entirely? While the courts will decide Thomas's legal fate, the emotional weight of this tragedy will remain with the community forever. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon. You won't want to miss the shocking stories we have coming next.